Ahoy shipmates, Amy from Cruise Craze Fam. Now, Carnival Encounter has just come out of dry dock and can't exactly say that we've got the reaction that people were hoping for. Have they really listened to what people want, or was it all just a bit of maintenance? Let's talk about it.
Cruise Craze Fam, let's sail away. Everywhere we wanna play. On the seas we roam so free.
All right, so let's talk about the facts, the things that we know so far. So the things that we know so far is February 16th till March 5th, there was a dry dock at Singapore for the Carnival Encounter. There was 1,950 contractors and 1,100 crew working 24/7 to get this done over the 15 days. I previously did a video about the dry dock and what people were wanting. I basically compiled a whole bunch of information based off people's wants and desires off my social media accounts, and also some feedback from my parents who were on board on their way to Singapore. So what we knew is that the ship did miss its last port because she crawled into Singapore. She was having some engine issues. Obviously, this was a number one priority. You can't have a cruise ship without an engine that's working properly. So I believe a large chunk of that budget went towards fixing the engines. We also know that there was a lot of issues with smell, plumbing, and things out of order, such as elevators and stuff like that. So obviously this stuff takes priority. And in the words of my mum, when this ship was on its way to Singapore, my mum said, forget the free pizza, forget the free ice cream, and fix all the broken stuff. That was literally her words. So it does seem like they have done a lot. Obviously, $65 million is a lot of money, but they're not the visual changes that people were hoping for. The first really obvious sign when you see this ship is its new livery. So it's got the new paint job with the white, blue, and red on the bow. This has definitely made it fall in line more with the Carnival fleet, and the ship looks a lot more Carnival now, from the outside at least. Before I go too far into this, let me say, I was hoping to get an influx of photos and updates from on board, and it has been amazingly slow and surprising. We've only got little drips and drabs of feedback post dry dock from the onboard passengers. I wish I was on board. I will be on board in a couple of weeks, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I will give a full review once I have been on board and I've experienced it myself. And obviously I'll be able to see a lot of these changes for myself as well, and I can bring them to you firsthand. One of the new biggest additions is that they have now added some Cloud9 suites. Now, the Cloud9 suites is one thing, the thermal suites, that they did not have. And I got to admit, this upcoming cruise is a girls' cruise, and I would love to have the thermal suites. So far, I've only seen a couple of pictures of like maybe 2 new areas, and I can't say it's enough to sell me on actually spending the money on the thermal suites. One of my biggest things that I like on Splendor is the Thalasso pool or the hydrotherapy pool on Luminosa, and I can't say that without that I'm going to be in a hurry to book the thermal suites. In saying that, I still don't have enough information yet about what exactly the changes are and whether it's worth booking. So I do think there is a high chance that I will explore it on the day that I board. I will do the tour of the suites, and then I'll decide whether that's something that I want to book. Now, another thing that's come out from one of my friends on board, so his name is Tony, and he's got an Instagram page called Thrifty Drifting Official. He was on board going to Singapore, hung around in Singapore, did a bit of traveling around the area, and now he's back on board. Now, he was super disappointed. He got on board, he got his first ever ocean suite, and the carpet was filthy and sticky. And this is something we've heard from a lot of people, a lot of feedback that the carpet throughout the ship is sticky. Now, I think there's a high chance that this is off the stuff that they lay kind of some plastic stuff over the carpet. I think it's very possible that's happened, and maybe they didn't have time to do a full vacuum. Maybe it was a bit of a rush job, but he also found dust in the drawers, and honestly, their fix was to just put some sheets over the top of it. So he hasn't been stoked with the response that he's got. We also will be in an ocean suite, but we will be in an ocean suite in a few weeks' time. So they have plenty of time to clean it up for us. So I'm hoping that we'll have a much more positive experience when we board. Another thing that we haven't really heard much of is the out of Luke and the in with the Fahrenheit 555 and the topside grill. So topside grill is supposed to be replacing Luke's Burgers. From what I have seen posted so far, Luke's Burger is still there. And then Fahrenheit 555 is still not an option for me to book online. Neither is the thermal suites. I've looked at that and it's still not an option for me to book online. And my check-in is due in a few days. So I would like the website to be updated and maybe I can know a little bit more whether these are actually options I can book. But they've also said that as of May, Luke's will be gone. So I don't know if on Encounter they are keeping Luke's up until May and then they're transitioning it over to Fahrenheit 555. I don't know. Again, I wish I had a little bit more information I could bring you, but this is something I wanted to book because it's my birthday when we board. So I wanted to book with the girls a nice fancy dinner. So I will be able to bring you that as well. So Topside Burgers is supposed to be replacing Luke's Burgers. I have had Luke's Burgers once. It was not the best experience. If I didn't have the voucher from doing Luke's restaurant, there's not a chance that I would actually spend money to buy those burgers, in my opinion. I did not have a good experience. I did not like it. I will not be purchasing that again. But Topside Grill is supposed to be replacing Luke's Burgers, and this too is an upcharge. So they say that the menu is extensive and it's worth the extra money, but I don't understand why here in Australia we have so many extra costs. I know this is something that P&O did, but it's also something that put me off P&O. I still preferred Carnival, especially cruising as a family when we've got 4 people, because extra ice cream, extra pizza, extra burgers, it adds up so quickly. And Ben and David literally just did a video about this, and they don't understand why here in Australia there's so many additional charges. So I have to say, I think they've dropped the ball on that. They haven't listened to what people want. People want the pizza, the burgers, and the ice cream that is expected. It's a standard with Carnival. But for some reason, they are just not falling in line with what people want. I know these decisions are probably made in Miami and they're looking at the dollar and the shareholders. And, I'm a shareholder. But I also don't want to have to pay every time I have a burger because I am not used to that with Carnival. I am used to Guy's Burgers and even on Luminosa, where they don't have Guy's Burgers, they still got free burgers and they're very similar to Guy's. I had that just over the New Year's period and I really enjoyed that. And my kids enjoy that. They like going and getting a handful of chips and maybe a little burger. But when you have to buy it times 4, that's adding up very, very quickly. Another thing that was actually added before dry dock is Bonsai Sushi Express. This was added down near the lobby. It was added where there was a winery bar, and my mum absolutely loved the sushi. Even though it is an upcharge, she purchase that almost every day because for her being a vegan, she found that to be one of the best food options for her. All right. Now, one other thing that I have got a lot of feedback from people on board, I've actually got private messages about this, is that we have new speakers. There is new speakers throughout. So there's been a lot of technical upgrades. There's been some power saving upgrades. The new speakers are in the Black Circus. They are in the theater and most likely in the nightclub too. I don't know, but they've added a lot of new speakers and a lot of technical upgrades. Now, we all know technical stuff costs a lot of money. So I can also see why, and I know how much an electrician costs as well. That's why we've still got a light that hasn't been fixed in forever. But that's also where a lot of this $65 million would have kicked in. Another massive expense. They have redone the pools. So they've been resurfaced. Now, a lot of people looking at these pictures initially can't see it, but on the main pool, on the Lido deck, the timber benches have been replaced with, I don't know what they call it, but it's on most of your Carnival ships, and it's like a rubber, and I personally do much prefer that. It's going to probably wear a lot better as well. So all those benches have been replaced. The tiles have been replaced. There's a new kind of foam resurfacing, which is a lot safer for children as well. So there has been some big upgrades with the swimming pools. So all 5 swimming pools have received upgrades. Also, all 7 jacuzzi spas have also been replaced. So again, there's another big expense. So even though there's not many visual changes, which honestly, I think this was a pretty ship anyway, I don't think it needed a whole lot, except for maybe those yellow couches in the lobby that thankfully have been replaced with a more modern, more Australian type aesthetic chair, which I am actually glad for that one, because the orange mustard color, just not my cup of tea. The water slides have been repolished just to make it a faster slide. The kids clubs have received upgrades. Now, again, I haven't seen any pictures of these yet. I will make sure I bring it to you with my next cruise. All right, so other than that, I really haven't had much information and many updates. So I will try to bring it to you probably through my socials. I don't see me remaking another video based off this until I have experienced it myself. So make sure you keep an eye on my socials. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, follow them all, and I will bring you as many updates as I can as I get them. But very soon, so March 27th, so in 20 days, I will be boarding the Carnival Encounter myself. I will be able to bring you my first-hand review and hopefully a ship tour of this still beautiful ship. Dated, yeah. She's an old ship, but that's why these dry docks are so important. They need the maintenance. They need to be upkept. Would have liked to have seen a few more carnivalization steps, if I'm being honest. I think it's time to let go of P&O. I know that they didn't want to disrupt the P&O passengers, but a year has been now, and I think it's time that people want to see a little bit more of the Carnival product. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what your thoughts are on the dry dock upgrades, and whether this is still a ship that you are looking to sail on, whether it's a ship you are sailing on, whether you're going to see me on board on the 27th. Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.
Like and subscribe.